Indian classical music and how the melodies in the Indian classical music help us to connect with ourselves, help us to connect with the divine, and what are some of the spiritual significances that we see in Indian classical music. I'd like to begin my reflection with a Sanskrit shloka that goes on like this. Naham vasami Vaikunthe na yogi hridaye rava The meaning of this shloka: in a conversation between Lord Vishnu and Saint Narada, Lord Vishnu says to Narada, "Neither do I reside in Vaikuntha, which means heaven, nor do I reside in the hearts of the yogis, like the spiritual saints, but I dwell and would stand in attention wherever my devotees sing my name with devotion and dedication." Now let us move on to learn about the history and the origin of Indian classical music. Indian classical music boasts a rich and ancient history, deeply intertwined with religious and philosophical traditions. Its origins can be traced back to the Vedic period, where chants and music notations were developed for rituals. Over time, these evolved into distinct classical forms like the Hindustani and the Carnatic music, alongside diverse regional folk traditions. Now, when we see some of the early influences and some of the early influences that led to the development of Indian classical music, it dates back to the Vedic period. The Sam Veda, one of the four Vedas, is considered as the foundation of Indian music, which contains hymns set to melodies with specific musical notes. Natya Shastra, this ancient Sanskrit text on performing arts by Bharat Muni, laid the groundwork for theoretical and practical aspects of Indian music. The core concepts of raga, melodic framework, and thala, rhythmic cycle, are rooted in ancient texts and practices. Indian music is often linked to Hindu mythology, with deities like Saraswati, goddess of music, and Narada, a celestial musician, Ganesha for rhythm, Krishna, flute for flute. All of these deities playing significant roles and have significance in terms of music and spiritual and religious connections. The practice of chanting Vedic hymns with specific melodies and rhythmic structures formed an integral part of early Indian musical development. Now, moving on to learn about the different styles between Hindustani and Carnatic music. The Carnatic music flourished in the southern part of India, and Carnatic music retained a more classical structure with compositions by figures like Purandaradasa, who is regarded as the father of Carnatic music. Hindustani style of music developed in the northern parts of India, which was influenced by Persian and Islamic traditions, particularly during the medieval period. Now, when we look at the distinct styles of these different types of music, or styles of music, both traditions share a common origin. Hindustani music is known for its emphasis on improvisation and instrumental virtuosity, with different instruments that are used in Hindustani music includes tabla, flute, sitar, sarod, and tanpura. While Carnatic music often features a more fixed composition with importance given to lyrics, lyrical texts, and in praise of the Lord, in praise of the divine, and with more spiritual context and significance. In India, in those olden times, Bhakti and Sufi movements, these were some religious movements that also played a very important role in shaping how these different styles of music developed with regional folk traditions and musical expressions. In the modern times, fusion and innovation started to become more popular, which modernized the Indian music. And the modern style of Indian music continues to evolve, incorporating Western influences and creating new genres like Bollywood music, Hollywood music, which blends both classical, folk, and Arabic elements with popular music trends. Indian classical music, both Hindustani and Carnatic, continues to be appreciated worldwide, with performers achieving international significance. Now, moving into the Indian music trinity and the spiritual significance in Carnatic music. So this Carnatic music is the style that developed in the southern part of India, and Purandara Dasa is regarded as the father of Carnatic music, who was a 14th century poet and a devotee of Lord Krishna. He wrote many compositions in praise of Lord Krishna. Music trinity in Carnatic music refers to a set of three musicians, namely the Muthuswami Dikshitar, Saint Tyagaraja, and Syama Sastri. These were musicians in the 17th century, regarded as the musical trinity in Carnatic music. And during the same time, in the Western music, as you can also see, the Johann Sebastian Bach, Mozart, and Beethoven were also present as a music trinity in the Western style of music. Saint Tyagaraja, 17th century musician, he composed hundreds and hundreds of devotional compositions, mostly in Telugu and Sanskrit languages, in praise of Lord Rama, many of which remain popular even today. Saint Muthuswami Dikshitar was a South Indian poet who credited for approximately 500 compositions, which are noted for their elaborate poetic descriptions of Hindu deities, architectural descriptions of temples, and for capturing the essence of the raga forms. Saint Syama Sastri was a prominent composer of Carnatic music, and his works are known for their literary, melodic, and rhythmic complexity. He is said to have composed around 300 pieces. Saint Tyagaraja wrote a composition, and I'd like to sing a few excerpts from that song. Sangeeta Jnanamu, Sangeeta Jnanamu, Bhakti Veena, Sangeeta Jnanamu, Bhakti Veena, Sanmargamu, Kalade Manasa. The meaning of this verse: O mind, the knowledge of music without devotion, knowledge of music without devotion is not the right path. Is there a supreme mode of worship? Tyagaraja knows how to discriminate between right and wrong. He is also aware that this world is unreal and transient. He has found a way to conquer the 6 inward enemies like lust, attachment, anger, greed, pride, and jealousy. Yet he is fully convinced that there is no other path or there is no other way to salvation other than the knowledge of music with unalloyed devotion. Saint Tyagaraja, with his devotion and dedication towards Lord Rama, had composed so many compositions and have sung and have shown immense devotion to the Divine Supreme that Lord Rama once appeared in front of Saint Tyagaraja and have blessed him. So we can see that the knowledge of music that has devotion in it helps one to lead to salvation and to connect yourself to the divine and spiritual presence. Now, these were the significances in the Carnatic style of music. Now, moving into the Hindustani classical music, there were also poets and musicians that helped in spreading spiritual significances and spiritual attributes through music. Hindustani classical composer Swami Haridas was an Indian spiritual poet and classical musician in the 15th century. He was a court musician, and his work influenced both classical music and the bhakti movements of North India, especially those devoted to Lord Krishna. Tansen, also regarded as Mia Tansen, was a Hindustani classical musician born into a Hindu family. He learned and perfected his art of music in the northwest region of modern Madhya Pradesh. He got his first break as a musician and composer in the court of Raja Man Singh Tomar of Gwalior and spent most of his adult life in the court and patronage of the Hindu king of Reva. This reputation brought him to attention of the Mughal Emperor Akbar. In 1562, at about the age of 60, Tansen joined Akbar's court, and his performances became the subject of many court historians. Sadarang and Adarang were the pen names of Hindustani musical composers and artists who were active in the 18th century. They changed the khyal style of Hindustani music into the form that is even performed today. Naimad Khan composed khyal for his disciples. However, he never performed the khyal himself, so he always taught his compositions to his disciples, which are even now been learned and performed all around the world in Hindustani classical music. Now, looking at the Hindustani devotional poets, Kabir Das, Tulsi Das, Surdas, and Mirabai were prominent figures of the Bhakti movement in the medieval India, known for their devotional poetry and contributions to Hindu religious and cultural traditions. They emphasized personal devotion to God and challenged social hierarchies using vernacular languages to make their works accessible to masses. Kabir Das was a 15th century mystic poet and saint known for his couplets that promoted spiritual awakening and challenged religious and social divisions. He advocated for a formless God and emphasized inner spirituality, transcending religious boundaries, emphasizing the quality of all humans before God. Kabir's teachings also stressed simplicity, detachment from the material possessions, and the importance of inner contentment. Tulsi Das was a 16th century Hindu poet and philosopher, best known for his epic poems Ramcharitmanas, a vernacular version of the Ramayana. He was a devotee of Lord Rama, and he focused on a god with attributes and a human form. Tulsidas' work is renowned for its lyrical quality and its impact on shaping Hindu devotional practices. Surdas was a 16th century blind saint and poet. He was a devoted follower of Lord Krishna. He is known for his devotional songs, focusing on Krishna's childhood and his interactions with the gopis. Surdas is also known to emphasize a formless, attributeless God. Mirabai was a 16th century Hindu mystic poet. She was also a devotee of Lord Krishna, known for her passionate and emotional poetry. She challenged social norms and gender roles, expressing her love for Krishna through her songs and poems. Mirabai's works are deeply personal and reflect her intense devotion and longing for the divine. In conclusion, Indian classical music reveals how this ancient form transcends mere performance, offering a profound spiritual journey for both the performer and the listener. Rooted in centuries-old traditions, both Hindustani and Carnatic styles evokes states of meditation, devotion, and inner awakening through their intricate ragas and rhythmic patterns. These musical expressions are not simply artistic endeavors, but sacred offerings, gateways to connect with the self, connect with the cosmos, and connect with the divine. As each note unfolds with intention and emotion, Indian classical music continues to serve as a timeless vessel for spiritual reflection and transcendence. In the same way, Western music is also attributed with a divine power due to its ability to evoke profound emotions, create a sense of transcendence, and express complex ideas mirroring themes of conflict, resolution, and spiritual yearning found in religious and philosophical